capable of mistakes. The journey's not here to be agonized.
Welcome everyone to another episode of the Mere Mortals Monthly Goals. This is where your two favorite mere mortals, you've got Kyrin here on this side.
And you have Juan on the other side.
And we are going over our goals from May of 2024, talking about what we're going to be doing in June of 2024, a little bit of thank you support to the supporters at home, and then also an update on just our fitness, how we've been going with that. So we usually start off with Juan telling us, so how was your May?
May 2024, and I had the wrong thing up. I only had my June 2024 goals. So the usual little goal description that I had was finish my workout strong and enjoy the family trip to Japan. So indeed, those things were done. I did indeed go to Japan. I did indeed have a family trip.
Excellent.
And I finished mostly the training. So the 5 goals that I had, one of them was, again, body, mind, soul, separation. The body one, I've only recently, actually, going back, I've only had one body main thing, and which has been good, I guess. It's like a good focus only on the body. I know that on my annual goals, overall, I think I have 3 or 4 body ones, but I've only just been doing that predominant one, which, honestly, it's been good for me. But anyways, the May one, completing the Olympic training phase and preparing for the calisthenics / gymnastics, whatever we're going to call it. It was, look, I completed it. I pulled up stumps 2 weeks earlier. Reasoning being was, if I can recall correctly, just before Japan, I was really pondering, like, am I going to complete this? I was, to be honest, I was under recovering, not overtraining. I was under recovering. And so it was like week 8 of the 12-week program. And I was doing some particular lifts, which I would have expected to be along the course higher than what I was doing, 8 weeks back. And it wasn't. It was actually like going backwards. Okay. So the top end strength for these Olympic lifts were actually decaying. What I was getting good at was more repetitions. So in any case, I sort of thought, look, I'm going to complete it there. I'm not getting kind of the optimal thing I want from that, and I want to begin this new one. So I kind of said that, done, cool. And then the other 3 around the mind, creating a vlog for the family trip. So I showed you a few videos and photos when we sort of...
You took so many.
Oh, there is a lot.
You reckon 1,000 photos?
No, definitely not definitely not 1,000. But I couldn't very quickly.
It's only 150 a day,
I think if I was to just roughly calculate it, if it's gonna let me, Jesus, I'm gonna try to select and just go and select every single one to see what it tells you. What do you think? What do you actually think?
I reckon you had a solid crack at 500.
500, he says. Let's see. Oh my god, what is going on? It'd be about 200. Okay. About 200. Oh. Yeah.
Amateur.
Amateur. But what I did do is, so in terms of creating the vlog,
care about your baby
and
family?
Geez. No, not at all. But what I tried to do, and it progressively got harder. So when we got there, even before we got there, so from the day we were leaving, I was creating, let's just say, a little video of what we were doing, what we were up to every 6 hours. Let's say through the day. So I'd do a video, we're on the plane, we arrived at the place, we're going out for a walk. But as the trip went on and on and on, it got harder in a sense of I, A, was forgetting to do it, B, was more immersed in the travel than wanting to do it, and then C, also getting tired. And towards the tail end of the trip, I got sick when we were, I was sick, we were at Disneyland and then traveling back home. And in all that period, I didn't want to be recording because it was either we were stressed or we were carrying heaps of stuff. And I'm like, well, what's the point of doing it? I guess in retrospect, maybe that would have been the whole entire package of the vlog. Is there's one of the things in memory now. It's starting to fade away, some of the suffering that was experienced in the travel, and just the highlights. It was really great. Yeah, so it would have been nice to capture a few of the videos where it wasn't as great. Although, however, I did capture the video from where we got locked out of the room. Nice. So I was like, we're locked out. So yes, we got locked out of one of our rooms in Osaka. The third one, I wanted to start to create a book list for 99 must-read books.
How'd you go with that?
It went all right. I did it right at the beginning, which is good. Thank God I did it. Otherwise, it wouldn't have gotten done. So I combined basically Kyrin's list with my list. Your list, you have way more than 99 books.
Yeah.
My list is
400. I think that we've done 300 or 400 book reviews.
Yeah. So there's a lot. There's a lot to go from.
I have, I guess. And
So I kind of combined yours and mine and I think I capped it off at like 7 out of 10 or 7.5 out of 10, which actually got it to, it's like 88 or 89 or something like that. So I didn't get to 99. It's a little bit less. Now I've created the list to a certain point, and I think I need to just come back to it, not this following month, but in a while of, okay, what's the next steps? How do I feel in the rest of it? How am I actually going to use it? Because what I'm starting to think about doing with it, it's probably a bit of effort to do, and we'll talk about it in meanderings. But yeah, it's just, I did it. I did as much as I could. I did it right at the beginning because thank God I wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
I've actually got a book review tomorrow, and that's going to be one of my highest rated books.
Really?
Ever.
Higher than George Orwell's 1984?
I mean, they're equivalent. I guess.
Right, okay, so it was pretty high. Yeah. On the scale of Kyrin?
That's a 9.
9.
That's a 9.
Wow, okay. Damn.
You have to add that to your list.
Yeah, damn, okay, good. Fourth one, just start taxation preparations for the end of the year. Yep, that one was a really easy one to start it.
So end of year is
End of financial year.
End of June for us.
End of June for us. And then the last one is just attempting to be double as kind. 3 times minimum in my day-to-day things.
Did you take my suggestion of ass chocolates?
No, I didn't. No, I forgot about that, which I did not. So, that probably would have made it easier. But this one was, I really considered it done. Not that I was super conscious about it, but I found myself through the whole month anyways being quite kind in a lot of situations. I can only really recall a few times, and it was while I was on the Japanese trip, that I was like, oh man, this absolute asshole or something like that. But beyond that, I was generally pretty kind through the month, which is a good thing.
That's good.
Yeah.
Good.
So May 2024, it went well. It was good. It was good.
Well out of 10. Excellent. So I had a bunch of goals, but these were all very much dependent on, I guess, being in
Vacation.
in Brazil and what I was kind of planning to do, and then obviously coming back to Australia, mum, all of that. It didn't completely throw it out of the water, but I had to kind of rejig a little bit. So eye contact, smile, touching, and don't attempt iffy jokes. Well, I was thinking of doing that in Portuguese, so that was kind of a write-off, but I was still, I've been working on that. Yeah. It's getting better. Get out of the house by 10 a.m. at the latest. I was almost doing that. I switched it to 11 because I'm like 10 a.m. Okay. That's really early. Yeah. Come on, people. Like, let's be reasonable. And
I can attest that Kyrin didn't get out of the proverbial house today until 11, a little bit after 11 a.m. today. Yeah.
And it was kind of like fun and useful, but it's also, I don't get much done if I'm doing that. So the reason I had this goal was because I wanted to be practicing Portuguese, so it was to get out of the house. That was the reason. Okay. No, if I do that here in Brisbane, what am I going to do? I guess I can go train earlier, or
would you?
I don't know.
Would you go train earlier?
Not at the moment.
Okay,
no.
cool.
No. So that one was more. I changed it to kind of like just be doing something by 10 a.m. I guess.
Okay.
So try and survive, plus reach out to other podcasters. So I did actually just before I left Brazil do a interview conversation on another person's podcast actually Podhome, Barry. He's going to release that. I don't know, sometime soonish, I guess. And there just some other people like so Wes from the Beer, Bourbon and Balderdash. He reached out, and I was like, the best excuse ever. Oh, my mum passed away a couple of days ago. I'm probably not gonna.
No, it's not going to be a very easy thing for people to get to connect and do it.
Yeah, I just didn't feel like doing it. So so that one is okay. Watch Coach Backman vids and read Push Harder again. So there's one arm handstand related. Yes. I actually did a fair bit of research. I didn't watch all of the Coach Backman, so I half got it done. But
what's like the total amount of hours?
Oh man, he's got a lot of videos, so it'd probably be 3 to 4 hours worth of content.
Okay,
so
it's quite a lot. Yeah,
he's got a decent amount, and he's got some really good stuff. So I wanted to take it slowly as well and do that. Only Portuguese entertainment or useful vids in the evening. Not really. I spent a lot of time watching Vikings and other random stuff with my brother. So
were you doing that when you were in Brazil though?
For the 2 or 3 days that I was there at the start of the month, yes. Okay. And then it was just like, no. Because I can't remember what day I came back here. I think it was the 7th, something like that. So, I did have a week there, I guess. And other ones, research some places, events that could be amazing. Didn't do that. Yep. Try to simplify your language and use less abstract words. Kind of. Kind of. So that was related to the book review on semantics, which I really, really enjoyed.
Yep.
And I didn't do it for myself, but I was watching other people and kind of using that framework of saying, okay, what exactly are they saying? If they're saying something is stable or the Bitcoin protocol needs to remain stable, that is completely abstract, almost useless unless they hone it down and refine it. So it was kind of interesting hearing some language like that and going, okay, I can see how this is actually not helpful. He's saying stuff, but nothing is really being said.
Yapping.
They're
just yapping. Yeah.
And then the last one was make the effort to ask about classes. So I did actually ask for a run club, or there was like these people doing jogging and running in Brazil. I went over and chatted with them. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, no, it's like super select clientele. I'll pass your number on to the main dude. And he obviously didn't pass it on. So I was just like, oh, okay, stuff you guys.
You stumbled upon a super selective run club.
Well,
wow.
I don't know how selective it was, but I think they were trying to be cool.
Right, got it. Be like a protected. I don't think there's any. I'm just trying to think if there's any run clubs like that I've heard of
here
Australia
in Brisbane.
I
mean, there's ones where you
like
you want to be fast. So
yeah, there's some I guess that they would guard by the speed. Like, hey, you have to be running at about this pace. That's what we run.
So the South Bank runners, I think I don't know if they have cutoffs, but yeah,
there's like an expected.
You got to be motoring too.
Yeah, like if you come along and you're not going along with them, it's like, well, you're just kind of running on your own, really.
Yeah, correct. So, and I was doing did 2 breakdance classes here. I think it was 2 or 3, and. I missed yesterday's obviously because we were in Sydney. I'm probably not going to go to the next one just because I'm flying out 2 days after that. So, it was a month where I didn't focus on trying to improve my goals and hit them, and it was a month of I wouldn't say relaxation, but of
dealing with life.
Something like that.
Yeah. Just existing, pretty much, to be honest.
Kind of.
Yeah. I mean. If you had come on here and said, I just didn't even look at my monthly goals for this particular month, I'd be like, okay.
It was kind of, it was
almost
like
at that level. Yeah, it makes sense.
I did have a little look. So I'd like to thank our supporters and people who've done that and boosted into the show.
Yep.
We haven't really gotten, once again, it's the end of the month, and I don't think I've actually tallied up the April ones yet. So I'll do a double soon. But yeah, no, it's just... We haven't been putting out as much stuff. So we missed last week's episode because you're in Japan, and I just didn't want to finagle around with trying to do
set
that.
it up and all that.
Yeah. And you were sick as well, so it was just a bit of a shit show.
It would have been a pretty heavy task with the fact that we barely planned it. So it'll be like, oh yeah, let's do this, and then call in,
And you wanted to use your phone, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to use that audio. We do have a couple of live people I hope they're live in the chat. They're definitely not AI. We have Patricia Hormaza, your mum as usual saying, and then we have Dimelix, Quantum Hosky. Ooh. And he actually asked a pretty good question. He goes, what do you use to track goals, an app or just notes?
What do you use, Juan? For me, it's purely an Excel spreadsheet. I've got an Excel spreadsheet that I call the master spreadsheet. And it has, again, how many tabs? Probably like 40 tabs. And it hosts things between my finances to my training to, just a ton, everything. Master, right? It's got everything. But in amongst that, I've got 2 tabs. One, which is the one I'm reading right now, which is like 31-year-old monthly goals. And then another tab, it's a 31-year-old annual goal. So I just use spreadsheet. Spreadsheet for me the easiest. There is, I'm currently part of a group, School of Mastery, and they have like lots of
templates
and whatnot, which they use Google Sheets. So it's something like what you'd see equivalent in like the market, I guess. Like this is probably something that I could package up and resell or something like that, but it just works for me. So spreadsheet, input, new tab. I don't know what I would do if I would just like accidentally deleted it for whatever reason. It went corrupt. I'd be like, yeah, this is annoying. However, it's set up in a way that, even if it did that, I could just, okay, cool. It's July. Go again. Like I'm not really going back and retrospecting on things a couple of months back. Although I did for a bit of fun go and open like a 29-year-old and a 28-year-old monthly goals tab just to see what I was tracking and doing around then. And just the changes, the differences in what I was prioritizing and focusing on. But yes, spreadsheets.
Yep. For me, I guess I've got a lot of different things that all eventually kind of combine together. So the main one is just an app note. I use Google Keep. I used to use Evernote, and it's just some lines that I wrote down.
Yep.
I use, if I had a set number of hours of practice or something, when I did an hour, I'd just change it from 6 hours to 5 hours. So I'm just kind of constantly doing it like that rather than ticking off boxes. Or I think I've gotten to a certain extent past the feel goods of doing the ticking or having the thing. I still kind of do that for my fitness tracking, which I write down physically, and then I convert that over into an actual Excel spreadsheet. And that one, once I've transferred it over, I put a line through it. So I guess that's a way of being like, done. But it's kind of haphazard, to be honest, Dimmer. It's not...
not super fancy.
No, it's kind of. I think we always say that they're just kind of, we're using them to just guide us to where we roughly want to go. You know? I roughly want to get better at Portuguese language. I roughly want to have better handstands. I don't know what the end goal looks like per se. So these are all just on the way to do that. If you want to type in the chat what you do as well, or if you take monthly goals, or
I mean, if
goal tracking would be easy, interesting.
I'm assuming that there's lots of apps out there that have that sort of setup. I think Apple, not super recent now, but I know in one of the latest updates they created a thing. Did I delete it? Probably deleted it. I think it was called Journal. So if you wanted like a really, really easy way, I guess, for sometimes like goal setting or journaling and whatnot, they have like a actual internal app that you can just use, and it asks you, hey, how are you feeling when something happened, on recalling something. But I think it also allows you to put goals and track them against it. So I also tried to do goals or tasks and actions in like a Microsoft task tracker thing, which I do still use, but it's very much around tasks and things I've got to get done. Not so much goals. They just live all in the spreadsheet.
Yeah. I've stopped tracking and keeping as much score as I used to. I think a year ago I was tracking a lot more things. Am I on top of this, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of I'm kind of just going with the flow.
Yeah. Well, you were saying you stopped doing the tracking of your measurements.
Yeah, like waist and weight.
Like
It was just getting. I didn't see the point anymore.
It wasn't a why anymore.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Good question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dima. So let's jump on to June. What's coming up for June?
June 2024. All right. Well, overall, the writing of it, so the top line level, it's really getting back into my routine and starting to prepare for the next evolution of life. Evolution. So what does that mean? Well,
what does that
find
mean?
out. So the first goal here in the body space, the only one, once again, and I've only got a total of 5. I'm keeping it at 5. Yeah. The first one is pursuing the calisthenics effort for this month pretty strongly. So I've got it is gymnastics / calisthenics, but there's also another / which is more running as well. So it's a bit of a mixture. Why?
Okay.
Because as I originally started creating the plan for it and the minutes that I would be spending, I got disappointed that it was going to be like sub 1 hour. So I was like, oh, no, that's kind of annoying. Okay, can I add a little bit extra? Yeah, I can do some running. Awesome. So that's fulfilling it. But predominantly it's that. Again, what is it looking like at the moment? This one, I didn't set any goals of I want to, do a plus 30% to my handstand hold, or I want to be able to do this many amount of pull-ups. But it is do more of those things. Like I enjoy them, but just I in the previous programs, or if I left my program as is, I would really not do them that often. It'd be maybe once a fortnight or once every 3 weeks. So now it's going to be almost every day. In particular, actually, if anything, it's just progressing to be able to do more of them, right? Just more repetitions. I've got 3 in the mind space. First one is I want to create or leverage. So as I mentioned, there's probably some already out there. So I was going to try to find some and re-implement or create my own. The return on investment style calculator for my own personal users, which I remember when I talked about it in the annual goals, you were like, oh, I'd be interested to see what you mean by like all creating that. The annual goal one was it was create a return on investment with risk included sheet to use for future decisions. And there's a couple of things that have presented in life at the moment, just in opportunities where I've gone, have like a really like I really do need like some standardized way to be looking at this. So, you know, a couple of days ago, there was an opportunity that I was looking at. And so I was putting together like 4 different ways and options. And I found myself using like a little quality called, like I called it like hardness. Like how hard would it be to actually pursue these variations? And then talking with someone else like the day after about another opportunity, I found myself going like, oh, okay, well, this possibility. And, you know, what's a return on investment, but with the risk included, like, you know, and I don't want to be, I'm definitely moving at the moment to more risk averse as I am to, you know, being risk heavy. Okay. So that means, of course,
where does Hosky rate?
Oh, Hosky probably we would rate the safest. Yeah, staying at $0. No. Yeah. It'd be, it's one of those where I'm not going to be jumping on the bandwagon, even if it feels like, hey, that's going to go well. We'll but you never know.
Crypto's going to boom. That's true. And Juan will be telling us all his
Salivating
monthly goals about how he's going to sell Vienna to
I'll be like, oh yeah, you know, I tried to sell. I sold a quarter of the house, and I've just got. I now created a new coin. So no, I don't think we'll do that. But it'll be interesting to see. So I want to know if there's an existing one out there. So it's a return on investment calculator with the risk included, like some sort of sheet or some ability to input things and classify things and compare them in a hopefully easier way than. I think it took me, I was comparing these options and it probably took me 40 something minutes doing it all. And I was like, oh man, if I really had created the sheet by now, like this would have been maybe a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So
cool.
The other one is I'm going to read 1 page a day of the French book. Now, this is a very, very easy goal. However, going back on all these trying to read the
haven't been
the
so
French book,
successful.
Hasn't been successful. So I'm going to make it really simple for myself. Right next to my bed, 1 page a day. Morning or night, don't care where it is. I just got to do 1 page.
Yeah.
Get through it, finish it, move on.
Okay.
If I feel motivated, you know, do a couple more pages. But it also, I made a note. It's got to be a minimum of 30 this month.
Yep.
Minimum of 30, folks.
There you go.
Keep me in line.
All right. Let's see if you can do it.
4th one, I'm back on the value creation bandwagon. So the reason for there's probably not more is because this one has quite a few things in it. So it's book reviews. I've got a book review right there that I've got to do. There's another one that I'm about to finish as well that I probably want to get through as well. Oh, yeah. You'll be doing some book reviews anyways.
Yeah.
But I want to be I want to create those high quality ones again. So, you know, it's effort, it's time. So it's realistically 4 pieces.
Yeah.
So it's effort there. There's monthly summary, which I'll talk about in the meanderings. I'll talk more about that. And then just podcasts in general. So someone reached out who was supposed to have on the podcast for an interview to kind of like line something back up. And I was like, man, I'm anxious with how many things I actually have to do to do this. So that's going to be a huge one. And then 5th on the soul space, this one maps up to, I think it was key relationships. So I changed it. This was more around being calm rather than frantic. So the way I'm doing it for this particular goal is in my daily journal, demonstrate to myself a time in the day. So being really specific around where I chose to be calm over being frantic. So hopefully what that leads me to do, it's rather than if I write be more calm rather than frantic in all those moments, you don't think about it. Those when you talk about it like that, or you set a goal or intent like that, you won't do it. You don't think about it in the moment because you're just going day-to-day life unless you're reminding yourself every bloody 10 seconds or something like that. But I'm hoping if I'm doing it at the end of the day or in the mornings when I do it and I kind of summarize the day that's gone, and it makes me, I've got to find out a time when I was calm over the frantic, that at the very least, it's like, it's easy to spot when I just naturally do it, or easy to catch myself if there's a day I was like, oh man, I was just frantic the whole day. Okay, I got to remember like when those happen, try to be calmer, blah, 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 blah. So those are the 5 goals for the month of June. So plenty on. Those 5, again, sounds like 5, not many, but yeah, within them, there's some huge ones in there. So
yeah, definitely.
We'll get them on.
Legend. Well, if you can do the book review for next week, that'd be awesome, but I might be pushing it.
Yeah, there's no way.
There's no way. Very good. I'm keeping it simple. Going back to April was amazing. I really enjoyed going to Brazil and just kind of chilling out. The first time I'd chilled out for a long time, and I'd say first time I was really happy. It's the happiest I've been in a long time, and I just want to try and recapture that if possible. So yeah, I'm not. Allow yourself to be optimistic, flirty, happy, and playful. That was what it was last time, and I think I did a pretty good job. Not get too stuck up in the handstands, like having to eat once a day in the evening just because
that's what you do.
Just because that's the normal routine and things like that. No, I just want to try and recapture a bit of what I was feeling beforehand. So
good.
Yeah, there's nothing. I mean, if anything, the other stuff would be kind of don't do things. I've been. I was talking before. Once again, I'm a bit hungover right now, so making the poorer life choices in certain respects.
Well, let me tell you one story, right? So, no. These are definitely stories. Some of them are not shareable on this podcast.
No, not at all.
I think it's you do really well when it comes to some of the goal setting around not adding, but reducing. I'd say, yeah, it's probably some reduction in some of these decisions that you've made in the last couple of weeks.
And from small to big, I haven't been eating healthy. I did one big cook whilst I was here with my brother. That was pretty good because we put some vegetables and meats and pasta and stuff like that. But I've been eating just a lot of random crap.
Fair.
Last night for dinner, I had 2 small, what were they, beef Wellingtons?
2 beef Wellingtons. Yeah, 2 little beef Wellingtons.
Imagine like 2 little medals the size of a bottle cap, 3 bottle caps maybe, stacked together. I had 4 little brownie things dunked in chocolate, an oyster, and a cannoli. I think that was the extent of my eating. And a lot of alcohol. Jesus. So
you made up the calories plenty enough with the alcohol.
Yeah, it just doesn't. They just run through me. they dissipate. So yeah, eat healthier. Be more rock solid with my sleep. Spend more time with friends, doing things, not going too hard at the handstands. Just chilling out a bit more, saying yes to things. That's kind of the plan.
Yeah,
and I won't have in the back of my mind, how's mum doing?
Yeah,
maybe you need to come back to Australia. That's been and done. So
did you end up actually writing many more other goals, or was it just basically that?
That was just what I wrote down, and those other things I said were just kind of off the cuff that I was thinking.
Yeah. So sort of. You're trying to, because what you were saying, like when you were over there in April, like you were really enjoying it. It was obviously catching up with a good friend. You were doing all your handstands, like plenty of training and whatnot. Where, right now, at least for me, it's felt like you're in that undeniable slump because life happened, right? Like that's not a difference, but it'll be hopefully that trigger of cool, recapture that, and then maybe that freeing feeling of like okay, we can continue on with this, like to whatever is the next step for it.
Yeah, so, try and enjoy life because it's felt a little bit dull over this last month.
Yeah. So those are the June goals.
Yep.
For 2024.
So fitness wise, I've got a Stalder for the first time.
Correct.
I did that just before I left, so that's some points for me in my big fitness sheet, and that was good to tick off. I was feeling really great there, and then just since I've been back, cold weather. Emotional things going on, just feel like all gunked up. So haven't really progressed physically wise. I'm regressing. I'm devolving.
Oh no, you're devolving.
I'm devolving.
Yeah,
so
damn.
I don't know what into, but
something it doesn't hint
sloth.
For myself, from fitness perspective, obviously I took completely off in Japan. Didn't run, didn't do any training.
Did you come back heavier? Did you eat?
I didn't even check. I don't think I've checked my weight in 2 months.
Yeah,
but
me neither.
I can guarantee. I don't know what's going on, folks. I must have broken through the whatever physical barrier allows you to put on weight or lose weight. But I don't think I have deviated away. So I'm either between 87 and 89 kilos, and it hasn't changed for like 3 years.
Okay.
It does not change. Have a massive day of eating or a couple of weeks of eating. Don't do that. Train a lot. Don't train a lot. It's fucking just sitting there the whole time. Doesn't matter. So
my body's cutting the same.
Yeah. So honestly, if I had to guess, it would just been exactly the same. There wasn't much change. I did walk a lot, so kind of like balanced out the calorie intake
for sure.
But when I got back from Japan and getting back into training, that was good. That was nice to have a good forced break where I didn't train for, I think it was 13 days in total. From training session to training session.
Yeah.
And that was really good. And I was like, this is nice. But as I was talking to you about it offline, still, there's like little injuries, like the foot still hurts, man. The foot still hurts. And there's other little bits and bobs where I think the reality is I'm just not putting enough effort in the rehab of it. And also, as I'm saying this, obviously not caring about it enough because I'm just continuing to do my training. But for the moment, it's really enjoyable because I just had that good gap of not doing it. And so it just kind of fuels the passion of, I want to get back into it and do some things. So I'm already like excited for tomorrow morning's training. So I didn't train
last 2 days.
I did train the Tuesday. I trained at 3:30 in the morning. But I didn't train yet today. Didn't train today. So I'm already like excited for tomorrow, which is a good thing.
Cool.
Yeah. So there you go. Fitness,
Epic.
gym goals in general. Any other questions from
No. That's it. That's it for here on the chat. So yeah, we'll end it up here. This is a value for value podcast. We really do enjoy hearing back from you at home and getting some value from you guys. Like Dimilix gave us a cool question there. That was really great to know, and something for us to talk about because we don't typically talk about how we write it down. So what we just ask is you take time to perhaps share this podcast with a friend, someone who would enjoy it, someone who's perhaps lacking some goals and needs an example of how they could maybe write them out for themselves. You could also, I don't know, send more comments in like Dimilix has. You can, I suppose, go onto some of the social media and follow us there. I do post things on Twitter and on our Discord for when we go live.
Correct.
So if you get the chance, that's our notification system.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Well, you can use, in YouTube and a few other places, you can turn on the notification and get notified. So if you do want that, but we do make the effort of putting it in other places just in case you don't, for whatever reason. Yeah, we'll remind you.
Exactly. And then the last one is you can help support us monetarily because it does cost a lot of time, energy, money to create all of these things. So sending us to Boostergram, which is a payment that you can do directly within your podcasting app. We actually just came back from a Bitcoin party in Sydney.
Correct.
For the Bitcoin ETF that's getting released here. So it's moving. It's moving, people.
It's moving.
And so it's worth having a little play around with some of these things like Fountain.fm, Podcast Guru, True Fans, Podverse, rock solid apps.
Plenty of them.
I would recommend. I would recommend.
Try it out. If you haven't tried it out, start trying it. It's after yesterday night, kind of gave me the inkling that it's like, okay, we're maybe 2 years away, 3 years away, where it's going to become really common practice to utilize Bitcoin, to utilize Satoshis, and be present, available, easy. And but when that comes, I'm telling you guys, you want to be using it first. You can you tell your friends, be like, yeah, we were throwing around some Satoshis around here. It's not about some tons of money. It's just like, you're in the technology space well before any of this became like mainstream.
Yeah, you get a shirt if you
correct.
Send in 100,000 to the mere mortals. So it's $100 shirt at the moment.
Yeah, that's true.
It's probably not going to get too much cheaper.
It's more expensive than Fear of God. Damn.
Hey.
Wow, making moves here with the mere mortal shirts. Damn. So yes. If you do support us with that, we do give you obviously that value back.
Yep.
We'll leave it there then. Mere mortalize, thank you very much for tuning in for the monthly goals this time around. Tune in obviously for the next monthly goals. We will be doing the meandering shortly.
Yeah, right after this. So I'll send another link out shortly.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Mere mortalize wherever you are in the world. One out.
Kyrin out. Bye.
Husky.